it's Rhea. Wherever you are and whatever time it is, I hope you are enjoying yourself. So this week we are continuing on our journey of trying out the Sanjoki markers, and here's two portraits I did of my OCs, just to sort of like break them in and get a feel for them. Ignore how they look, because I feel like they could be better overall, but I did enjoy practicing with them, so we will continue to do that in this video as well. So basically I have another drawing, which I will work on in this video, and you'll get to see pretty much all the footage in real-time snippets, but there's a few disclaimers. So one, I'm a clown, and for some reason I made the very much rookie mistake of the camera angle being so, like, it's so directly above, like, it's just like such a straight-on shot that my hand is foreshortened, and like it's such an annoying way to where you can't see the drawing utensil like do the drawing sometimes. And I don't know, that might not irritate others as much, and you might be wanting me to like cut myself some slack, but I'm so salty that I did that, and frankly I'm appalled because I've been doing this for too long to not notice such like a basic mistake, and I'm just So pardon me as I will be cringing at myself the entire time. That being said, I do hope you can still enjoy some parts of the process. I don't know how big of a deal it is to other people, but to me it's like, it's really irritating. I don't know, maybe it's like more noticeable now that I pointed it out. Hopefully not, but yeah, I'll try to do better next time. I'm sorry. But the other disclaimer is that this is more of like a mini illustration. I say that whenever I like work on something, but it's not as intense as like an actual illustration that I want to go towards like a portfolio or like to sell on a shop somewhere or things like that. Like, it's not like an actual project. It's kind of just like, it's an illustration, but it's like not as much effort put in. And honestly, it didn't really come out how I wanted. It's kind of funny because like at first I was like, oh, this is horrible, like this is the worst, and it's not getting any better no matter what I do, yikes. But eventually I came around to like settle with, okay, fine, it's not that bad. I'm still gonna redo it digitally though. Basically, there's like a lot of little things here and there that I just feel like could be better, and it's to the point where it's just like, I don't know, like, that's usually the case with being an artist. There's always things that you feel like could be better, and especially if you're someone like me who's just insatiable. But yeah, I really think it's just the mixture of little things here and there that are just off and not how I want it to be that kind of make it seem like just the whole thing is off, if that makes sense. I mean, I can explain all of that as the process goes on too, but for now, let's just review what I'm doing for this process. So I'm currently laying in the sketch with my beloved Pilot Color yknows and some other colored pencils because I feel like that's the best utensil to use whenever it comes to sketching if I plan on coloring a illustration. So yeah, then I cut some paper with these cute little strawberry scissors. They're like these tiny, I don't know how to explain them, but apparently it's a like really common stationery item in Japan, but and I got it from Kinokuniya, which is like a Japanese bookstore. So yeah, because I don't really have many scissors lying around, but I just cut off a strip from the same paper that I am doing the illustration on, and you're seeing me like prepare some swatches, which I will say I will give myself a pat on the back for doing, because the thing is, I don't really do illustrations often, and especially not traditionally. So I kind of forgot like basic parts of the process, like just simple preparation things, and I feel like that's definitely something you want to do if you're gonna be working on something, is to just like test out the colors that you might want to use and know like the paper and all of that. So but after I get all that situated, I kind of just jump in, and of course it's like the typical way that I color, no matter what medium. If I'm doing it digitally or traditionally, I pretty much always do like skin, then hair and eyes, then clothes, and then whatever elements that may be surrounding them. And then of course I do like a background if I feel the need to. And when I say background, I mean like very minimal, just literally something in the background, like just a color or a pattern or whatever. So yeah, I kind of just do it like that. And real quick, because I haven't really explained it yet. This is a portrait of one of my OCs, except he's one of the many of mine that do not have a name. I call him Mira's brother because I have an OC named Mira, and I gave him a brother at some point. And yeah, this is what he looks like. Well, it's hard to say because a lot of my OCs are like, there's still so many things that I could switch about them. But for now, I pretty much pictured him as like this guy that looks very similar to Mira, except his hair is more purple, as Mira's hair is like pink. So yeah, and then I was also thinking maybe I should give them an older sister, but we'll see. Anyways, yes, so this is him. He's very precious. His personality kind of contrasts Mira in the sense that he's like, because Mira's like, he's like kind of sassy, he's kind of mean. But his brother is very much like puppy-esque. He's the younger brother, by the way, too. So he's very puppy-esque and just precious, lovable being. And I'm drawing him with these flowers because I saw these flowers on Pinterest, and I don't know, I've just been in a floral mood for the longest time lately, and spring has not been helping that. Like, I don't know. I've always liked flowers, of course, but I feel like over the years I've really embraced my love for them more and more. I don't know. I think it's like that thing where you're like reclaiming femininity, if that makes sense. It's like growing up, I felt the need to be very like tomboyish, and I was like, I don't like pink, that's girly, blah blah blah. And then now I'm like, pink is literally iconic. I have so many characters that I make with pink hair because I love characters with pink hair. And so I don't know, maybe the same thing happened to me with flowers. I don't know. Nature's great though, in general, it's just lovely. So yeah, and then I've especially been feeling this theme of like guys with flowers. I don't know why. It kind of just like came to me in a vision, like the same way I was like, February is a sapphic month, sapphicness, girls and chocolate and roses, blah blah. And then in March I kept thinking about like boys and flowers and just like beautifulness. I don't know. And so that's really stuck with me. Anyways, so here we are with this. And I thought it'd be like a fun backstory if like so it's in Mira's lore that even though he's mean, he is a pretty boy, and he sometimes gets modeling offers. And so I thought it'd be funny if he was like, like he turned down the offer, but he's like, I mean, I can ask my brother if you still want someone like similar to me, I guess. So yeah, I thought it'd be cute if his brother did like this floral photo shoot on his behalf. And then it'd be so funny if like, because they go to school, I guess, I think, yes, they go to like college maybe. There's a lot that I still have to flesh out, but anyways, I thought it'd be funny if like they like his classmates see like the photos and like, oh my gosh, he looks so cool, and then Mira's like, man, I should have went too. But anyways, back to the illustration and non-OC nonsense. So for the process, on terms of like using the markers, because you've already seen me like place down the skin, and now I'm getting into the hair, but oh, you can tell that I haven't done any line art. Whenever I tried out the first two little mini portraits that you saw, I did do the line art first, I believe, or at least, okay, for the one that I showed on the left, the one that has like a really thick outline, I don't know, you can go back and see if you want, but I did the line art first for that, and I kind of noticed some smudging, or like basically the line art was getting a little bit blurred in. Not a ton, but it was like slightly noticeable, and that's definitely because I like to layer a lot when using the markers, so it probably just felt some weight from all the pigment that I was putting on there. So yeah, I was like, well, I'll just not do the line art first this time, and so that's why I just stuck with the colored pencils and placed in the color. And I believe I said before that I don't really understand working with the colorless blender here and there. Like, sometimes I'll use it, sometimes I won't, but I do use it here and there in this illustration just to like test things out and see if I feel like it helps or if I like how it's used. But I still don't fully know what I'm doing, so I can't like say I can't say any like iconic helpful tips, but with the base skin, I placed we're already past it, so I'm sorry that I'm just not talking about it because I rambled, but I basically just placed down a base layer first, and then after it dried a little bit, or I felt like it dried, I went over it again in like the shaded, like the parts where there would be shade, but I still use the same marker. So I'm just going over it with like a second layer in certain areas for like shading, and then I try to find a like pink toned hue that is within that same color value, and I use that as like the blush. I still want it to be like subtle, like I don't want it to be like too blushy, so I feel like I kind of got away with it. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I think that's my thing. I try to go for like a subtle blended change, and sometimes whenever it's like harsh, I freak out and I don't know what to do. So yeah, I'm still trying to find that balance. But I do go in, you can see right now I'm going in like the really like darker like corners of the face and things like that. I go in with like a different colored marker that's a little bit darker but not too much, and yeah, I kind of felt like that helped sort of get the look that I wanted. And then with the hair, so I started darker than I meant to, because his hair isn't supposed to be that intense of a color. At least I don't think it was, even though I've only drawn him like probably twice and they've been like doodles. But I mean, I wanted it to be more of like a subtle purple, since it's more of like a muted lilac type lavender. So I realize now that there's, I mean, to reference the swatch sheet that no one's probably gonna go back to look at because even I don't feel like trying to remember, but basically for the purple section, like whenever I swatched the colors for the hair, there was a color above the one that I ended up choosing, and it was like this light blue, and that's what I should have put down. So I should have either went on top of the light pink with that blue, or I should have done it vice versa, where I placed down that light blue color and then went on top of it with like a light pink. And I feel like that I should have considered using that kind of blending method more for colors instead of seeing it as like a, is this marker already made like this issue? Because like one, it's a good problem solving thing to do, but two, it's kind of more fun that way because it's like it's teaching you sort of like advanced techniques in working with alcohol markers. And once again, the main, or like a pretty big perk of alcohol markers is whenever they can blend, and a lot of them, that's what they're for. So it's important to test it out and see like how you can use that method and how you like using it best. Of course, there's nothing wrong with like wanting an art supply set to have a specific color. But I noticed for Sanjoki, it's not easy to come by like a lot of lighter shades. And that kind of feels like the case for a lot of alcohol marker brands, sort of like in their tier. So a lot of the ones that seem like they're light are closer to mid-tones, if that makes sense. So yeah, just something that I will keep in mind. But anyway, the color palette is like kept fairly simple, and I think that was a good subconscious choice of mine because there's no need to go crazy with color range on an illustration when you're still trying to figure out a lot of the medium and like the product itself. Especially for something like markers that have like a ton of different individual colors, as opposed to like, you know, working with paints, because a lot of times with paint you're sort of mixing colors to get your variety, and that is a little bit different than whenever you have a set amount of colors given to you. And then like the last main part of this process for this illustration is just me touching up everything with colored pencils, mostly colored pencils, yeah. Colored pencils, I use some of my paint marker, but I feel like it really helps bring everything to life a bit more. And it's not even like the line art that I do is like super thick and intense and all that. It's like I'm going for more of a subtle look, and a lot of the line art that I do is with colored pencil, and I like the balance that it gives because it's like, yes, I am defining I'm like trying to define parts of the piece, but at the same time I keep the softness in a way, and I really like that look. I've noticed that I really enjoy that look in illustrations, especially with traditional art. So, and normally I get worried to not do the line art until the end like this, because I'm worried that everything, like the lines, are going to be too non-existent, that I won't be able to tell like what exactly goes where. But I don't know, maybe it's because I'm doing this on like a bigger size than what I usually sketch on and things like that, or maybe it's because the colored pencils that I used, but I feel like I can clearly see like where I need to place down the lines if I, like whenever I go to do the line art. So it wasn't that big of a deal, because normally that is my fear, but it didn't really matter that much. And I will say that I really like using the combo of colored pencils and other art supplies with markers, because I feel like they pair really nicely, and if I can get the hang of it, I feel like I might really enjoy having that be my main traditional art process. Also, oh my gosh, I'm putting up the little the Omori bun washi tape. The bunnies, how cute. I love this washi tape. You've probably seen me use it like multiple times by now, but yes, and so the swatches, the purple shades there, that light purple shade is what I should have used for his hair, but I'm dummy and I didn't, but it's okay. And here I'm adding in the background color, which I couldn't find. Like the color that I wanted, I didn't really see in my Sanjoki markers, so I'm sorry for cheating, but I did use this Copic marker color. It's just so pretty. Like I said, I feel like the shades, like most marker brands, aside from Copic, I feel like they don't really have that many shades this light. So I was kind of like, well, I'm gonna have to use Copic at least for this. And I feel like it was a nice touch. It got the color that I wanted, and yeah, I'm just going in using a ruler to make like this simple sort of, it becomes kind of like a diamond pattern, kind of. I don't know, I was just going for something like simple. I mean, I didn't want it to be just like splat, like just a splash of color, I guess. I kind of wanted it to have something a little bit interesting in it, but still not take away from like the other elements in this drawing. So anyways, I feel like I would really like to try working more with traditional art, and especially in regards to making like illustrations, because that's not really something that I do often. Like I said, it takes me, even doing digital art, I don't really do that many illustrations. I want to, and I have a ton of them planned out. It's just, I always find it so intimidating. So if you've seen any of my past videos of me working on like a full illustration, like that Mask of Flowers one, or like the Winter Blossom one, it took like a lot of time, and it didn't even fully come out the way I wanted. And so yeah, that's kind of just like a type of roadblock that I run into a lot with full pieces that I'm really trying to like overcome. And I feel like the only way to really do that is to just keep making illustrations, and at some point I'll be like, hey, it's just another illustration, at least I finished it, and now we go next. No matter what happens, there's always another drawing to be made, so it's okay if it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to. Because there were a lot of things that I feel like could have been better, and it's just kind of like I cut myself off because I realized I'd just keep nitpicking or polishing the drawing just to not be satisfied anyway, and at that point it's a waste of time, you know? I already recognized the things that I wanted to be improved, so I think it would be best for me to either continue it digitally or try a traditional redraw, but I will likely go with the former. But honestly, you don't even have to do that. If you draw something and spend time on something that you don't like afterwards, it's okay to just let it go and go to the next piece. There's no shame in that. No matter what, like each drawing that you make, whether you like it or not, it is getting you closer to how you want to draw. So just remember that. But since I have a little bit of time, I guess I will go into my roadblocks, if in case anyone's interested of me roasting myself. But so conceptually I liked it, but I didn't build up enough on it. So like I have the character and I have the element that I want them with, but I didn't think enough about like further details, like how I wanted his expression or like the overall mood or like framing. Also usage of this element. So like the flowers, how do I want them placed? Do I want them around him? Do I want them on him? It was a very quick process of me putting this together, and I even told myself to not think about it too much. And honestly, sometimes you can do this and a drawing comes out fine, or even better than expected, but in this case, I did not hit the nail on the head. The hammer fell out of my hands before I could even swing down, in fact. And then with an illustration that I'm actually serious about, like I said already, I try to put a lot more planning into it. So I would have done at least some kind of studies on the flowers, but I legit just winged it. Like I saw the flowers and I was like, all right, sure. And now they look like hydrangeas, even though they're not. They're actually rock cress flowers. There's like the special like Latin name for them, I guess, but I looked them up and I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with these. But I did not do like any kind of studies for them or anything like that. And while they do look like hydrangeas, in general, I feel like there's something that kind of pulls them apart from them as well. One, they're definitely not clustered up like that, but the shaping of the petals is a little bit different, so I don't know. I love flowers, but there's so many different ones and so many different like traits that they have. But I do kind of want to learn them because they're pretty and they make me happy. So anyways, back to the self-roast session. There's just, like I said, a lot of small things. So like the braid on his left, it's just too, well, our left, it's too stiff. That's not like the way it naturally falls. And then like the shading for his hand, like the inside of a person's hands, even if they have melanin, it is light. So that's incorrect, and I couldn't really fix it. And then the eye on the right side bothers me as well. So yeah, there's like a lot of little things that like if I was doing it digitally, easy fixes. However, traditional art, troubleshooting tends to fall off unless the medium that you're using is very forgiving. Gouache is a good example of this, and I definitely want to try it out, like, so badly. But I swear to god, if y'all see me with a gouache video before summer starts, it's gonna be me and y'all squaring up in the Denny's parking lot at 3 a.m. because I do not need to be doing that, okay? But tangents aside, as we get closer to wrapping up this video, basically there's a lot to figure out for each type of medium, and I think it's like a nice little journey that we go on. I think the next step for me would be trying to figure out a paper that I'm most comfortable with, because I still want to try out fax paper and see how that performs with the markers. So yeah, we'll see. Much to learn and discover, but I do also want to do a 3 marker challenge, so that might be coming up. And then also watercolor. I think I'm starting my watercolor arc. I mean, I've always wanted to, so why not? You know what I mean? But let me know in the comments, is there any new medium that you are trying this season? Or just in general, I guess, anything new that you're doing. It's spring, so it's a time of many new beginnings, so I wish you the best with your endeavors. Okay, it is now time to wrap up not only this illustration, but also this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed your time here today, please feel free to leave a like. If you're interested to see more of my content, you can always check out my other videos and subscribe. For reference, if you're new, I am Rhea or Etheria, and I like making art and art-related content on my channel. I do try to post weekly videos, but if you would like more timely updates, you can always check out my other social media linked in the description and also at the end of the video. Until next time, thank you so much once again for watching, and I wish you a nice rest of your day and week. Take care!